to the final episode of Phil John's V.I.P. Season 5 has now come to a close. I want to thank everybody for joining me and just sticking it out. I am so grateful to have this opportunity every chance that I get to come on and just kick it with you guys. Tonight is kind of like a redo from last season. I have a very special and talented poet and author coming on by the name of Marcel. I've known Marc for many, many, many years. And finally, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to get this right. He is a poet. He's an author. He's a spoken word artist. He is produces an animation show. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and everything else. He's a man that's always on a spiritual journey, always seeking enlightenment, always looking deeper and beyond our day-to-day experiences and kind of educating us about his journey along the way. He's had a life that has been lived well thus far, and he is going to continue to give us some words, some encouragement, some food for thought always. So without further ado, I want to bring my brother Marc on here so we can get to it. Here we go. All these folks, man, I didn't expect all these folks to be on here so quick, but I'm glad they're on here. Yo, Marc, you here?
What's up, man?
Ah! I said, yo, I gotta get you in. I need to have this conversation in the can.
Dude, I'm blessed you think of me the way you do, for real. I'm thankful, for real, because you owe me nothing. So,
no doubt.
Thank you, man. I'm glad to be here.
Like I always say the fact that I invite and I extend people an invitation to come on is just because I highly respect them.
Right. No doubt. Respect. I feel that. Like, yeah, it's what you want to give your time to. I guess before we go deeper, you should maybe ask people, can they hear my audio this time?
Give me a thumbs up if you can hear Marc's audio. Wait, because you starting to I hear you.
I'm starting to crackle.
Just give me a thumbs up. Anybody who popped on it, give me a thumbs up if you can hear Marc talking.
Am I starting to crackle?
No, you're
Is
not.
My video starting to
crackle. It would
okay, cool.
Slow down just a little bit.
I'm starting to slow down a bit.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
No, but hopefully this will be the winning ticket.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping.
So it's so many. Like, I feel like I've asked you everything I needed to ask you already, but I just wanted to know exactly where are you. First, if you could tell us a little bit about your journey into being a spoken word artist and an author, and then that, everything with the gurus, the animation,
right,
and series, and what's happening now.
All right, cool. How's my video coming in right now? Am I good?
Oh, somebody said, when you coming back to Phoenix?
Soon. But that person who asked me to come back from Phoenix, is my video coming in good or am I crackling?
Yeah, can you hear him? RLC 1913. Can you hear him? This is necessary.
Yeah.
We can't go any further unless we know you can hear Marc.
Matter of fact, here, let me make sure. Oh no.
So
let me see.
Just give us a thumbs up. I don't think you got your AirPods in, so I think we good money.
No, I don't. But now I just switched it back to the house. Yo, when you're on your phone,
yeah,
when you're at home, are you using your house internet or are you using the regular online?
I'm using my my Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. Okay, all right, cool. Well, I just switched to Wi-Fi. We'll see how this happens. So,
Ozzy, can you hear Marc speak? I just saw you come on. Ozzy, just give me a thumbs up if you can hear Marc.
Yeah, if you can hear my audio and if I'm not crackling.
Forgive us, but we need a tech rehearsal.
Yeah.
Shima, if you can hear Marc, give us a thumbs up.
For real.
So we know that we can hear Marc.
All right. Okay, cool.
Jason
that's what's up.
Said we can hear you.
Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all.
13 said that we can
No doubt. And hopefully I'm coming back to use Phoenix real soon. All right, so what's going on with me? Right now, I live in Los Angeles, man. I moved here.
Moved back? When?
Dude, yo. I've never lived in LA until 2 years ago. People thought I lived in LA for all that time. dude, I have so many friends across the country. I'm thankful that they let me couch hop, and and well, some of them I've worn out my welcome, but
Right,
most
right.
of them I don't wear out my welcome. And so, dude, I've been coming back and forth to LA since like 2008.
Well, that I
So since
know.
Right.
But
So people thought
I thought you were out there for an extended period at one point.
right, well, I was sleeping on my homeboy's couch. I wasn't paying rent nowhere,
Right,
you know what I'm
right,
saying? I
right.
didn't like have a place to live, you know what I'm saying? But people thought I lived in LA. I was actually moving to LA, but some shit went down. But
Well, I was out in LA in 2016.
okay,
I was in
okay. All
LA,
right.
and my time there was a little premature. So
Yeah, 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 yo. LA I call this place the jungle, yo. I love it though, but I call it the jungle. It is
yeah,
no fucking joke. But long story short, man, I got to LA like 2 years ago. Wasn't even thinking of getting to LA. Um, and I reconnected with an old friend of mine that I had a falling out with. I was just in town, and I was like, man, let me go see what's up with Rico. Like we hadn't talked in like 2, 3 years, and I texted him. I came up, like he lives by the Hollywood sign, and I texted him. I was like, yo, come outside. And he came outside with his phone. He was looking. He was like, yo, I thought this was an old text because that's the last thing you said to me last time you was here. I was like, man, you're right. And so he was like, yo, did you get a new book sale? I was like, nah, what are you talking about? He was like, yeah, man, you know I love your book, man. I'm always talking about your book. And the person who he said bought my book, this dude named Eric, he came over while I was there, actually like 2 hours later to get it signed. And when
yeah,
that happened, I was like, damn, like I made the right decision and reconnected with this friendship. Because like, even though, you've gone years without talking, this dude still thought of me highly enough to still be promoting what I do to people. You know what I'm saying? So I made the right choice. And while I was there, then he said, yo, do you want to move next door? A room opened up. And at first I was like, nah, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. I wasn't even thinking about it. But he hit me up a week later. He was like, yo, you sure? The room's still available. And I was just looking at my finances and I was like, yeah, give me that room. So that's how I got up here to LA. And I live in a very unique situation. Like, it really is like, we should really, well, they missed the best chance to have some of the most juiciest shit. But we really should have had a reality show in these two houses. Like, there's two mansions next door there's two mansions next door to each other. And like one has 7, one has 8. And the like quarters are like pretty, like the spaces are pretty good. It's like
what
almost like
area of LA? What area?
Hollywood Hills.
Okay,
Yeah, so the dude right underneath the Hollywood sign, dude. If I take my phone off of here and
right.
just take it right over there, you'll see the Hollywood sign smack you in your face for real.
So what's the plan? Why LA?
Yo, well, this is what I was getting to. Check it. So, because it's going to tie into my movie or my the Gurus
Yeah,
that I'm show was on. So I showed a friend of my father's. I showed a friend of my father's about like 5 years ago asked me to come talk to him. He was talking to me about gurus. And he was like, man, this is amazing. He's like, what are you doing with this? I was like, well, I'm the only animator. It takes a lot out of me, so I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with it. And he was like, well, you need to be in LA or New York. And I was like, man, I can't stand New York. He was like, well, you need to be in LA. I was like, well, shit, LA it
watch it,
is. And
watch it,
I know.
watch it.
I know, dude.
You know,
It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal, man. It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal. I mean, I can't live in New York I can't be in New York to live because
I
this
got you.
one thing about New York. I mean, there's a lot of things about New York, but one of the things I love about LA compared to New York is that New York, LA can be packed or you can have your solitude. It's big enough to where and it's
Yeah,
spaced out enough to where you can feel like you're by yourself, or you can go somewhere and you'll be around everybody. You won't have any solitude to yourself.
right.
New York, it's like that everywhere. You don't have
Yeah,
any solitude to yourself. So that's really one of a negative compared to a positive that I like in LA.
I got.
So yeah, but so I'm in LA now, and it changed my life like almost instantly. It really changed my life
But how long?
instantly.
Because last time we spoke, you were in Baltimore.
Oh well, I was visiting
You were just
Baltimore.
saying, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I was
okay.
just visiting. Yeah, I was just visiting. So now I've been here for 2 years,
Okay.
and for the past year I've been working on my Gurus. It's called Gurus the Meta movie. I made a movie out of it, and we're looking for distribution now. And that's kind of where I am now. Like as soon as I got here, like he was right. He was like, man, you need to be where meetings are gonna happen. Ain't no meetings gonna happen in Baltimore.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
but yeah, so I was like, all right, well, cool, and I mean, and it's happening. It's everything he's kind of said and more. So yeah.
So where you feel like you're along in your journey right now? Where are you?
I am, well, I just finished the movie. So now we're looking for distribution. I mean, dude, I'm in a lot of things, man. I finished the movie. We're about to like premiere it. That's the next stage is premiere and marketing.
Oh,
And also
snap. Real quick, Baseman just came on.
uh,
So shout out to the Baseman.
Bass, what's up, dude?
Baseman. Yo, I just looked down and I saw
Oh
the Baseman
shit,
is
I
on.
see.
Marcellus Baseman
Yeah.
Shepard, I think, is
Oh my
responsible for a
God,
lot
man, it brought back memories.
of who we
5 seasons.
are
Yeah,
as just artists,
yeah,
period, I think. So it all
yeah.
started, at Warm Wednesdays.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Exactly. Warm Wednesdays. Exactly, man. For real. That's one of the homes, man. For real. It's one of the home bases for me. For real. Um, but yeah, man. I got out here, and I mean, some of the projects that I'm about to release as soon as is going to be the movie, called Gurus the Meta movie. I also wrote a book that's in this last stages of editing called A Moon Near Venus, which is about my flight experience that was on the plane that almost crashed.
I was going to ask you to address that. So go
Okay,
ahead.
cool, cool. And so that's about that. It parallels my flight experience and a relationship I got in with afterwards, and how everything connects. And the book A Moon Near Venus talks about how psychedelics helps heal trauma. Because since that time, of almost dying on the airplane, you know, I've engaged in a few different psychedelic sessions, 5-MeO DMT and psilocybin mushrooms, and just other thing, ketamine.
I really wanted to get down the nitty with that
Hey,
because
I'm your
I think
man. I'm your man.
I think being like the last person that I talked to in the season, I always go to someone who I know I definitely could talk spirituality with.
Right.
So, and all that you've done, like, we know that Marcel is a poet. We know that he's an author. We know about gurus. We know about all these things about you. But exactly at what point how do you connect psychedelics and spirituality and trauma? It's like trauma. When you say trauma, you think of trying to use psychedelics for like medicinal purposes,
Right.
but there's also a spiritual element connected to that. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. I mean, really, psychedelics really, first of all, anything you experience on psychedelics, you can experience without psychedelics. So let me say that first and foremost. Psychedelics is just like a shortcut. It's a whole lot more difficult to get there without the psychedelics. But also with the psychedelics, it doesn't mean that with psychedelics you're using something that you aren't supposed to, because it's here in nature. And if you weren't supposed to use it, then it wouldn't be here for you to be able to use it for its advantages, one. But how it really connects, man. A lot of times on psychedelics, it just shows you your relationships with the present moment, the past, really, and the future, how you connect to everything. And really, for me, man, it has just broken me down to the point to where it lets me see how a lot of things in this reality is not what I think it is. It's funny, man. I tell people, this place is built off magic. And I say that because, if you believe in the law of attraction, the only way the law of attraction could work is if this shit wasn't real. Because if this shit was real, this shit was really real, then the law of attraction wouldn't work. All these little pseudoscience things we think, karma and the yin and yang, all them shits wouldn't work. But yo, when you see them working, you're like, yo, how does this shit work? Why is it working? It's working because this place is built off magic.
Yeah.
And magic, and people may take me really made zero in and pigeonhole my words. But when I say magic, I mean something way beyond anything that we can even uh, conceive
You're
or
saying
think of
like
magic.
for so super things that are supernatural,
Yeah, but this is also the
things that
thing.
really can't be explained,
That's right. Things
right?
that can't be explained in the human words. But this is the thing. If it can happen, it's not supernatural. It's natural.
Right,
That's the thing. There's no
right,
such thing as supernatural.
right.
You know what I'm
You know,
saying?
okay. So let me ask you this
Yeah.
question. There are, the world has come up with 1,000 different religions,
Right.
right? A thousand different belief
Yeah.
systems. But
Over 4,000 religions.
but there's a common denominator within them all that is universal law,
Right.
right?
Most of them. Most of
The
them.
universal law. That's the common denominator.
Right.
And I think a lot of people get caught up on language. Like you say magic, right? When
Right.
you tell a Christian magic, then it's like, oh, no, not
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah.
Fact
Yeah.
of the art of reaping and sowing, right? Sowing the seed and reaping it in the spiritual sense, or the idea of talking about like the kingdom of God.
Right.
The kingdom of God is things that we can't see.
Right.
It's just accessible to
Right.
us. Christ even taught that
Right.
the kingdom of God is at
It's,
hand, like it's now. So
right.
whenever we need to access it,
Right.
we can. But when we talk in a way that is kind of like that doesn't have that lingo to it, people don't receive it well.
Right.
You,
Right. I
you
mean,
know,
people get
so,
right. People get pigeonholed into words and language, like you say. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like that's why I was really trying to clarify. Like when I say magic, don't pigeonhole me to like magic, because it's something far more beyond than I could even explain. These are just human words. These are dumbed down human words that I use to explain the unexplainable. You know, that's really as simple as that. But yeah, man. I mean, this thing, it shows you the fabric of reality isn't what you think it is. And when you can understand that, then maybe it makes you assess the things that you're going through. And it just makes you take a step back and look within yourself and see how you have played a part in situations. And it also makes you see what things that are happening to you may not be just a direct result of you. It's just something that's also just happening, and it's also could be also for you. Now, there's a story. Now, for instance, have you ever heard of the Chinese farmer? The story of the
no,
Chinese farmer?
no.
All right. So Alan Watts, philosopher Alan Watts used to tell this story. It's not his, but it's an old Chinese fable. And this is kind of like how I lived life. So there was a Chinese farmer, and he had a horse, and his horse ran away. And all the neighbors came by, was like, "Oh man, so sorry. We're so sorry to hear about your horse, man. That's messed up. You ain't got no horse. You ain't, man, we're so sorry." And he was like, "Yeah, maybe." That horse came back the next day with 3 more horses. So now he had 3 more wild horses. So now he had 4 horses. And the neighbors came by like, "Wow, you got 4 horses? That's crazy. Wow, that's great." And he was like, "Yeah, maybe." The next day, his son rode one of them wild horses and broke his leg. And the neighbors came by. I was like, "Man, we're so sorry to hear about your son and his broken leg, man. That's really horrible. We're really sorry." And he was like, "Yeah, maybe." Then the next day, a big war broke out, and people were going door to door looking for soldiers. And they knocked on the Chinese farmer's door, and it was like, "Hey, we need your son. We need him to fight." He was like, "My son can't fight. He has a broken leg." And they looked at him and was like, "Ah, man, we can't use him." So they left off, and then the neighbors came by like, "Wow, your son didn't get picked for the draft. Oh my God, he's not going to be killed in the draft. Oh my God, that's great. That's great." And you know what he said? "Yeah, maybe." So what I'm saying is, you never know what unfortunate circumstances are going to lead to fortunate circumstances, and what fortunate circumstances are going to lead to unfortunate circumstances. Life is just an ever continuing flow of game of getting you to where you're going to go.
Right.
So whenever I go through my ups and downs, man, I just use it as I look at it as like, okay, how can I benefit out of this? How can I turn this into a positive maybe? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, dude, and really that's kind of my experience with my plane. You know, really like that plane, it was a horrifying experience. It was like the most hard. It was, dude, I thought I was gonna die. Like I literally like I chalked it up and I was like, yo, the very first thing that came to my mind was like, yo, this Marcel jig is up. That's the very first thing that came. I was looking up, boom, that shit, boom. I'm looking out the window. I'm like, man, this Marcel jig is
The,
up.
en-
I'm
the
done.
the engine was on fire, correct?
Yeah, the engine was on fire. It blew out. It was on fire. And dude, I made my peace of everything. It was like I went through my life. I went through women I dated, stages I've been on, friendships that I've had, friendships that I've had falling outs with, like my family. I thought about my art. When I thought about my art, I mean, I was ready to go. I was like, all right, fine. I was literally in the seat like, all right, man, let's do this. All right, like bracing for impact,
Right,
as if that was gonna like
right,
as if a plane crashing
right.
or combusting is going to save me from any type of whatever, physical harm. But um, when I started begging for my life, man, was when I realized I had some unreleased work on my laptop, and it was in the overhead, and I was like, oh my God, my next two albums, who has that? And I was like, oh my God, nobody has that, nobody has that. And then I started begging for my life, man. I was like, yo, please, please, please let me get this workout. And since then, I've used that experience. Some that I hate flying on planes now.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
it's
I don't
way
know
worse.
either.
Yeah, it's way worse than it's ever been. And but I used that experience, and I've I've incorporated that experience into a book, A Moon Near Venus, and also with that, like I said, I was dating someone for maybe 8 months, and that shit went hella south very quickly, but it all relates. It all relates
Yeah.
to that story somehow, and I saw the connections in it, and I'm using it all for a positive. You know what I'm saying? So all those instances of the horse running away, or the Chinese farmer's son breaking his leg, you know, I use all those instances as the horse coming back with three more horses,
Mm.
and the Chinese farmer's son getting excused from the draft because he had a broken leg. You know what I'm saying? I use all those experiences as positive maybes to go on, to continue creating for my art.
What do you hope people get out of it? What do you hope people take away from what
That's
you're
a good
trying to
one.
give?
Man, understanding, patience, reflection, um, to think before you act, to know that you're not alone. Um, we all go through things, no matter how big or brave or bravado someone can be. We all still going through stuff. Um, the simple things, man. I think people in this world, man, more than anything, a lot of times we feel alone. When we go through things, when we go through trauma, dude, we feel alone. We feel like the world is caving in on us, and we feel like, oh, woe is me. And I understand that feeling. So then we'll feel like, we'll feel lonely, and like I say, alone in solitude. I want people to know that at no point in time you're not alone. Like we're all going through it, and it's and what can you use from your trauma to get you to the next stage, like the Chinese farmer, like the maybe, like, okay, like your horse ran away, but how can we get three more horses to come back? So really that's what I hope like people get out of the book. Like, how can I take a positive out of my grief, out of my trauma, and use it for something positive?
Yeah. I was when I was in therapy a few years back. I remember my therapist telling me, she said, your family always has first dibs and effing you up.
Yeah. Yeah,
They
yeah,
always got
yeah,
first dibs.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
I think when you talk about trauma, there's so many adults that are walking around with childhood trauma, and they don't even know, they don't even understand how they're wired
Yeah.
because of it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times, not until you're able to really kind of get quiet,
Right.
ask the questions, and or be in experiences that require you to look at yourself or show you yourself,
Right. Right.
then you can work on what those things are,
Right.
because
Right.
a lot of times you don't know. I can be candid and say that I know that one thing I discovered about myself was that I was addicted to dysfunction. I had to mess something up so that I
Right.
can come back and
Mm.
fix it. Right.
That's deep. That's
So
deep.
when you're used to, if it gets too quiet,
Yeah.
I'm always like, why is it so quiet? Nothing's happening. So
Yeah.
I have to kind of break something so that I can go, oh, okay, I can come back and I gotta put the pieces of put the pieces back together again.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
that's been kind of like over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But I think the beauty is the self discovery, and I think we discover a little bit of ourselves as we go along. I don't think we'll ever finish figuring that out.
Right.
I think it's a lifelong journey to figure that
Yeah,
out.
it is. Yeah, you're right. And before, hey, Wilhelmina Fofo, how you doing? And that's Tiz right there. God Sends Beats. What's up with you, Tiz? Um, but yeah, man, it's funny. You have me thinking about the same thing. I'm like, yo, am I addicted to like these drama, betrayal type, like dramatic instances so I can use it for my art? It's funny. I told Femi, the dry fish.
Femi,
Yeah,
yes.
I told Femi some, what will be in the book in more detail. Some stuff that was going on with a relationship I had. And I was like, yo, it's cool, man. I'm just going to use it for my art. He's like, man, I'm going to need you to stop having these traumatic ass experiences for your art, man. You got to stop this shit. So, so I was like, man, it's not conscious. I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just taking the negative and making it positive. So, but yeah, man, I halfway was thinking of the same thing, man. Like, am I addicted? Because everything, you get a chemical reaction out of every feeling that you're going through. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I can even dude, I have asked myself that like so many times. I was like, man, am I enjoying this? Am I enjoying the pain? You know what I'm saying? Because I know what it does. I know, like I say, that maybe I get out of it. I know that it'll bring me back 3 more horses. You know?
Yeah.
So
How
I'm
about
like,
that?
am I
Yeah.
enjoying this? So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something to think about,
Yeah.
because that's where we create. Like that I think that's where we connect when we have those experiences. Then we connect. It's almost like the uh like when in scripture, how Christ says, like, in order for you to get the beam out of your brother's eye, you first have to remove the beam out of your own, right?
Right.
And
Right.
my interpretation of that is, how can I heal and set free other people if I haven't been healed or set free from the same thing? So it's
Yo.
almost like the more that I go through in my life, then I'm more connected to somebody who might be going through the same thing,
Right.
so that I can speak with a level of power and wisdom
Right.
when I speak to them.
No, you're right. Matter of fact, damn, and I just realized that's Kim. Oh my God, Kim, I
Yeah.
love you. I can't wait to get to Austin. Um, but dude, you're right, dude, because I was asking myself, do yeah, man, it's just a chemical reaction, man. I was just literally asking myself, do I enjoy the pain that I go through, just because I know what it's going to get my art, man. It's like seeds to an artist. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's but you got to plant it. You know what I'm saying? You have to plant it, and you have to nurture it so it can. You have to water it, so it can sprout up to be something beautiful. You know, yeah, man, everything is for the taking, for real. That's how I look at it. Like whatever I go through is there for the taking. And it's funny, as an artist, um, as an as an artist, I don't like to write a lot of fantasy stuff.
Mm.
Like, I don't like to write. I like to write. I want my writing to come from real experiences. So here's an example. Like there was a poet that had a poem about um, being a fatherless child. And he was like, Daddy, Daddy, where are you? Daddy, Daddy, where? Daddy, Daddy, where were you? Daddy, Daddy, you know, you left me, blah, blah, blah. His, his dad was sitting in the crowd listening to him do the poem. And so people coming up, oh man, we're so sorry you went through that. We're so sorry. He was like, no, my dad's right over there listening to you do the poem. To me, that's misleading. Now he wanted to give some type of, he wanted someone to make, I know what he was doing. He wanted people to feel comforted, to know that they're not alone, to know we all go through stuff. He could have said the same thing instead of saying my daddy.
Right.
He could have said his daddy
Or
their dad or your daddy,
or
you
our.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
right. But by him saying me, mine, it makes it personal, so it's misleading. It makes people think, oh, that happened to him. Now with that, I mean, that molded me in the sense I was like, yo, I never want to do that. Like I want all my writing, all my work to come from like real experiences in the sense. And if you know I'm talking, I mean, obviously if I sit there and, you know, you'll know if something is pure fantasy than not. But if I'm saying I'm going through something, I'm doing this, best believe I went through it. So I remember thinking that, and it's funny, just like I say, when Femi was like, yo, I'm going to need you to stop having these traumatic ass experiences for your work. It's almost like when I had that revelation, man, it's like, shit, man, like the shit that's just be happening, man, is just I'm thankful, you know, but it could be stressful sometimes. But like I say, I'm an artist. It's
Yeah.
like for artists, it's food, you know. So
Yeah. Because
fuel,
I always say, you know, I write from experiences and
right,
I write from observations.
right.
You know,
You say what? You write from what?
experiences and
Absolutely.
observation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Things
yeah,
that I
yeah.
witness.
Right, 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 right. And that's right. And that's all. So anything I go through, like I said, I love. Like, and I tell people, even people should know, man. When they fuck with me, they're subject to be written about for real.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
depending on how bad shit gets, I'll change their name. You know what I'm saying? But man, you in my life, yo. You're subject to be written about for real. Just know that shit. You know. Just is what it is.
That's funny, but it's the truth. I think that you know, a lot of times, well, I can speak for myself. I think I love to be in a situation. I could. My imagination has always been one that ran wild. You know,
Right. Yeah.
so I could write about a woman I see sitting at a bus stop just smoking a cigarette,
Right.
you know, and
Right.
she's taking puffs, and I could create this whole world that I think she may fit in.
Right.
You know,
Right.
come
Right.
up
Right.
with a character or a story
Right.
that I want to tell
Right.
people. You know what I mean? But I
Right.
also think um, I call that kind of stuff spirit writing.
Right.
It's
Right.
not it's not something I'm saying like I'm going to write the story. Whatever I thought of in that moment has come from someplace else.
Yo, dude, respect.
Yeah,
In fact, I've always said I don't really feel like a writer. I feel like an editor
yeah,
because all this stuff is just really already there. You're just picking and choosing how you going to build your block. You know what I'm saying? Like how you going to build your foundation. So all I'm doing is just gazing what is already given to me. If anything, I'm just a viewer. I'm just a viewer picking and
yeah.
choosing, you know, what I think should work for someone else to understand what I think I'm understanding myself.
And
You
have you ever had a moment where you didn't want to write something, but you felt like spirit told you that it had to be written?
know? Shit. I mean, yes and no. I mean, I've had things that have been difficult for me to write.
Mm.
Like really this book that I just wrote, A Moon Near Venus, like that shit is, yo, that shit is a mad emotional, man. For real, I'm not gonna lie, that shit is mad emotional.
Jahidi, thank you for joining us, brother.
Mhm.
Jahidi, yo, Jahidi, come next fall. Be prepared. I'm gonna shoot you a date.
But me being as a writer, I look at it like, dude, I try to write about any and everything that I feel needs to be written about. So even if I don't feel like writing on it,
Yeah,
if I know it's gonna be something productive, I'll try to wither past my emotions with it, and bring it forth. I would say, like I said, this book, like that shit was bad emotional, man. But I mean, I had to get through it. So I mean, because it's funny, man. Like when I was on that plane, when I was on that plane about to go down, as well, like someone was saying, your art really isn't for you, and I've always kind of felt that, my art, even though I'm bringing it out, it's not for it's not for me, because I can't take it with me,
Yeah.
when I leave here. So I'm leaving it for people. So I'm like, it's gonna sound conceited, because I am nothing and everything all at once, but anything. Anyway,
Yeah.
it, it's almost like a given. I mean, at the end of the day, man, I just want people to know that they're not alone. You know what I'm saying? And you do that by sharing your stories with them, to let you know, like, yo, I done been through some shit too. Like, and every now and then it fucks with me, but you wake up the next day. And there ain't nothing better than waking up in the morning, because when you wake up in the morning, that's when you can correct all your traumas, or start healing all your traumas. You know what I'm saying? So you
Amen.
can't do that. You can't do that if you ain't waking up. And I'll take waking up over the alternative
Yeah.
any day of the week.
Right.
For real.
Because that means there's more work for you to do and more people for you to impact.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you the question. I've asked all my 5 questions to everybody, but the one in particular that I feel like I really want to ask you, because I want to get your input, or I will have you say it again. So, out of all the things that you've done in your life, what would you want your legacy to be?
Oh fuck. Really true. I mean, truthfully, that was a good person. Honestly, I mean, sometimes I slip up. But no, for the most part, man, like, nah, I'm like that. I try to lead with love, and compassion. Um, Dude, nah, I mean that I work hard. Like I ain't gonna like egotistically, one of the things that I enjoy most about myself that people say about me is that, like, don't nobody work harder than me when it comes to what I do. Like I know that. I know nobody puts in the hours that I do when it comes to doing this stuff. I know that. Um, and it is humbling, and it also egotistically feels good that people have seen that. So they'll share that. So I mean, I know that's just gonna, that's one thing. Really, man, just the simple things, man. Nothing, just to be seen, I guess. Just to be seen, like, yo, he tried to live life honestly, and embrace it, and he worked hard at what he loved.
What brings you joy?
Yo, man, what brings me joy, yo, is bringing joy to other people. I was just talking about that, like, yesterday. Someone's like, making someone feel happy is actually a selfish action, but there's nothing wrong with that,
Yeah.
because whenever you make someone feel good, you feel good in yourself. Like if you
Yeah.
bring someone a smile, you're like, man, I made that person smile. So yeah, what makes me happy at the end of the day, truthfully, man, like bringing joy to other people. I mean, granted, I mean, dude, I don't want to be miserable, you know what I'm saying? But um still, man, like when you bring joy to other people, man, that shit makes you feel good.
And
Like I say this, so say like there's like 3 things that I have. There's like 3 rules that I have when I meet homeless people. One of them is look them in the eye, ask them their name, and touch them. Because homeless people don't get looked in the eye. People don't care about their names, and they don't touch them. And that's like life. That's like the joys of life. That's what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? To embrace each other, and they're not getting that. And so I know when I do that, I see their reactions, man, and they look like, man, fuck. I mean, they just look like, wow, like you see me, while all these other people have just walked past me, and you sitting here stopping and talking to me. Yo, that brings me joy, for real. Just making someone feel good, for real. As simple as that.
what do you call God?
Oh man, you're gonna get me in trouble. um, no, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say.
I'm trying to make it good. I can't wait. Go ahead.
What I call God. Oh man, my ego is like, say it, dude, say it, say it. I'm like, nah, don't say that shit.
Come on, look, this is a safe space.
What do I call God? Yo, I call God. Yo, really, forget what I was going to say. God is everything. God really is everything. I'm God. I mean, that's what I was going to say. I'm God. But I mean, you're also God. We're all God. We're all God having a human experience. I mean, really, all God is an entity. One. If we're all one, which they say God is, then we're really all alone. And if you take the words all and one, if you put them together, what does that spell? It spells alone. So it's really trying to give you hints of what's going on. So God, a being that is all one and that is alone. All right. So if you're all one, it means like you kind of like know everything. You know everything. There's nothing new, nothing for you to do. No new experience that you can have because you're all one. You got it here. Like there's like no new creation that you can make. And God, as the ultimate creator, wants to create. So the only thing you can do when you're God and you're all one and you're all alone, the only thing you can do is fool yourself, trick yourself into thinking that you're not all one and you're not all alone. So what you do is you forget what you know, and then you break yourself down into these entities, Mark, Phil, and Shaquisha, Jojo, whatever, Tom, like all these entities, and you forget what you are, so you can relearn what you are through experiencing yourself through other versions of yourself. I mean, really, that's all God is, man. And I mean, it's really so much even more than that, but that's basically what it is, you know.
So you would say that God, like, we are a manifestation of God in creation, experiencing itself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And much more. But yeah.
Yeah.
I've done a shitload of psychedelics, man.
Now let me ask you a question for that, because I always say, like, you know I don't want to be called a heretic or a blasphemous. Everybody pretty much knows, like, I'm a person who's very spiritual and where my faith lies. Right. But I've always been a person who's very inquisitive, and I'm open to hear what everyone has to say. And I'm also I have questions for myself. And when Christ teaches the Sermon on the Mount, right? He talks about in his Father's house there are many mansions. Right. Remember once someone told me that that can be interpreted as, in my Father's house there are many dimensions, right? There are many mansions in this house. There are many dimensions, right?
That's good. I agree with that. Go ahead.
Right, exactly, right. So there's the dimension that we see, and that is spirit in human form that we experience, and then there are dimensions that we are unable to see. Now, my question would be, would you say that psychedelics opens up a portal, or like almost like a gateway into certain dimensions that we don't see?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Hands down. Hands down. Hands down. In fact, man, you should, yeah, in fact, one of my last experiences, one of my last few experiences, whatever, I was like doing some ketamine, and I was meditating with it, and one of the things it said to me was like, you can only see it when your eyes are closed. And I was just kept on thinking about that more deeper and deeper and deeper, and I was like, and it just made more sense, because the non-physical exists. You can't see the non-physical in this realm right now with your eyes open. And whenever I close my eyes, that's when you're gone. Like you are like seeing it. It's woven into other dimensions, and it's that it kind of is just like this, like within this reality. But you can't see it if your eyes are open here, because this is what you're seeing here. So you can only see it when your eyes are closed. And my man, I have closed my eyes and I have seen them other dimensions. And it's funny, on one of my trips, I actually thought, I mean, it felt like I was looking into this one Pacific like journey I'm talking about. It felt like I was looking into another dimension, in like this room and stuff. And it was wild. It was almost like I was a ghost. I mean,
Mm.
it was just really like just taking me like through these different layers, man. I was just like, yo, that's wild. Um, it's just, dude, it's so unbelievable, yo. It's just so unbelievable, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, it's so yeah. There's those mansions are different dimensions, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and it is here, and I have seen some of them. And it's way over your head to what you could even comprehend what it is
Yeah.
going on too. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm only able to piece some of this together because of how much interaction that I've had with it, and also how much I've shared what I think I understand from it. You know, your ideas only become more fluid or more grounded or more understood when you're having conversations, when you can just build off of that, and you usually kind of all come to some concrete similar idea. So
Because I believe that we, you know, what we think, what we speak, how we feel, like our energy and what we omit taps into those dimensions, because those are the things that we can, that come to us that are unexplainable.
right,
You know,
right, right, right,
you know. I mean, other than that, you really can't explain it with the natural eye, because in the natural world, it doesn't make sense.
right, 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 right. It doesn't make sense. I mean, there's no words here that can truly make sense out of it. And you know, people, you know, some people have an opinion of me, and they'll tell me, "Yo, for explaining the unexplainable, you do a very good job," and I appreciate that. But with that said, yo, I'm still far off from what this shit exactly is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's there's no words here to explain this shit exactly what it is. Matter of fact, um, put it like this: I understand, and what I see, um, a lot of times I see technology, and the only reason I call it technology is because I have technology here to associate what I think I'm understand, what I think I'm seeing. So, with that said, Ezekiel in the Bible, when he talked about seeing this fiery chariot in the sky, I don't think he was seeing a fiery chariot. I think the dude was having a psychedelic experience,
Yeah.
and all he had
I
in
say that
his
about the burning bush. Again, don't stone, no, anybody watching, don't stone me. But I feel that way about the burning bush.
right.
Yeah.
You only right. Right. So I feel like a lot of these stories in the Bible, people were on psychedelics, and the thing that I feel dilutes the Bible is that I feel those experiences weren't told by the people who had those experiences. So it just be like me it'd be like me explaining to you a psychedelic experience I had, and then you going off and telling someone that experience. And you would not explain that shit in the correct way of how I actually thought I saw it.
Yeah.
So it's like a game of telephone. It starts getting dumbed down, dumbed down. So now Ezekiel's whatever he saw becomes a fiery chariot in the sky. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And now someone explains Moses with a burning bush.
Yeah.
When really, no, the dude was just on some mushrooms that he ate from cow shit. And he was fucking blasted out his mind, tripping balls, you know? So really, that's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What do you have coming up that you would like for us to know?
Yeah.
Anything?
Be on the lookout for my movie, Grooves the Meta movie. Be on the lookout for my book of Moon Near Venus. I got a spoken word album coming out. Um, the title is entirely too long for me to say it because I kind of want to do that to be an asshole. I wanted to like write a title as long as I could. Like the
Yeah.
title is like the greatest spoken word album ever created in the history of all mankind, under the unknowns and knowns of God. Like it just goes on. But and then I actually have another spoken word album that I'm doing after that. I mean, I got a lot of projects coming out,
I
man.
can't
So I
I
mean,
can't
this
I can't wait to read the book.
yeah, man, I'll be sending you a copy, man, for real.
Please do.
Yeah.
Brother Mark. Thank you.
No, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you so much, yo. Let me know when you want to do this again, man. I'm here.
Oh, definitely, definitely, definitely. I would love to, man. And
Yeah,
I can't wait to connect with you in person whenever you back in on the East Coast. Let's do
yeah,
that.
dude. I'm here, man. Are you in Baltimore or New York?
I'm in New York.
Okay, all right, all
Yeah.
right. That's why you're like, hey, man, careful, careful, careful.
Right, right. I'm like, I'm I'm in New York. I just did an episode of East New York on CBS.
Really?
Yeah,
That's what's up, dude. That's what's up,
yeah.
man. That's
And
good
I'm
shit.
on. I did a Kaleidoscope. I did a few episodes on Kaleidoscope that's on Netflix now with Giancarlo Esposito.
That's what's up, man.
So
That's what's up.
God has been good, man. I can't complain. I'm hoping that more doors will continue to open for me moving forward in this year. So
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
I'm excited. I'm excited about the unseen.
yeah.
What
Yeah. That's
and the things that have yet to be come, to manifest itself,
right.
because I feel that it's coming,
Right.
almost a wave coming toward me. I can see it and I feel it.
Yo,
So,
homie, man, before like shit hit the fan with me with this like, what you'll read in the book, I'm telling you, the book your mouth is gonna drop. You'll be like, what the fuck? Before shit before shit hit the fan, yo, I was literally doing some work, like sitting on my big screen doing some work, and all of a sudden I felt like my GTA character level up. Like I was like, dude, I feel an abundance. Like it
yeah,
was just weird. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, man. Keep that feeling going, man. You deserve it, dude, for real. You know what I mean? Dude, I've always appreciated you as a person, dude. You are a class A dude, man,
Thank
for
you, man.
real. Yeah,
I appreciate that, truly,
yeah.
truly. All
No,
right,
no
Mark
doubt.
Marcel, everyone.
No doubt. Candy, I saw your comment. Yeah, I just wanted to say, it's a good thing to scared the shit out of you. That's what it's supposed to do. And Jo, I appreciate you for the interview compliment, man, for real. And everybody that listened, thank you for your time. And Phil, man, dude, I love you, man, for real. I
Love you too,
thank you,
bro.
dude.
So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to everything that you got coming down.
no doubt. Respect.
Truly. All right, have a blessed one, everyone. Mark, brother, stay safe, stay in peace.
Nah, no doubt. You too,
Definitely.
man. I'll try my best.
All right, have a good night,
All right, man.
everybody.
Bet.